Martial holding talks with Manchester United about his future, and Erik Ten Hag is open to selling the player, with reported offers from West Ham United and Inter Milan incoming. Jadon Sancho has reportedly had offers from Aston Villa, and Ten Hag is open to selling both players, but for the right price because he's got to bring a replacement in. Other news on Alvaro Fernandez leaving, Benjamin Pavard latest, and more in today's late night episode of the Transfer Roundup. Hello and welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and welcome back to another Transfer Roundup video where we sum up all the latest Manchester United news that's come out today, give you the latest on transfers in less than 10 minutes. This transfer video is mostly going to focus on the striker attacking situation, talk a little bit about Marcus Leonardo to United, a striker we've been linked with, but mostly rumours of Anthony Martial leaving. And then we'll touch upon rumours that Sancho will leave. But honestly, I don't think Sancho will go. I think Sancho will stay put. Potentially Martial could go. And that's what we're going to get into. The Mirror have come out today and it said Anthony Martial was set to hold talks with Manchester United over his future with 3 clubs interested in signing the striker this month. In the last few days, a lot of reports have come out about Anthony Martial potentially leaving United. West Ham have been one of the names recently linked to him, but he was also linked with, of course, Inter Milan, who he seems to get linked with Inter Milan most summers though. But Inter Milan do have a thing about United Deadwood. But regarding West Ham, it was said today by Alex Crook that West Ham have registered an interest in Anthony Martial. Talks are still at an early stage and there's no guarantee Erik Ten Hag will sanction his departure. West Ham have asked to be kept informed. So Alex Crook has confirmed that West Ham have inquired about Martial. West Ham love signing Manchester United's Deadwood. Thank you very much, West Ham. Please, McTominay, once you've completed Maguire, good money, give us the Declan Rice money. But on a serious note, obviously West Ham have inquired about Martial, reportedly to other clubs as well. Other clubs have as well. They're saying Ten Hag's reluctant about letting him go. I think Manchester United will let Martial go if the right bid is made, and that is because he's got 1 year left on his contract, high wages, high injury record. If you can get 15 million for him, you can get Marcus Leonardo, you can get Taremi, you can get someone temporary in to replace Martial. I don't think United will sell Sancho because there's not really many replacements you can do, but for Martial there are potential replacements out there, and I think Martial might be getting frustrated with Højlund coming and not being the main man. And of course, you know, there is even reports that Martial was offered to Fenerbahce, who have obviously just signed, of course, Under, but obviously they've just signed Under now. There was reports saying that Martial's been offered to Fenerbahce, and Fenerbahce, one of the clubs interested in him. Court offside said that Inter Milan were considering buying Anthony Martial, and there's still rumours if he could go to Inter Milan, but reportedly Fenerbahce were interested in Martial, but they've signed Under. It's between West Ham and Inter Milan about Martial. Clubs are interested in Martial. Some reports are saying that they're not sure if Ten Hag will sell Martial or not. Other sources are saying, look, if the right money comes in the right price, Ten Hag is open to selling Martial. We know that Sancho and Martial were players that Ten Hag is open to selling for the right price. Same with Scott McTominay. But as we're getting towards the end of the transfer window, it's going to be more and more difficult to sell. Like, I don't think there's actually a replacement out there for Sancho. I think you can get a replacement in there for Martial, and I think you can get that in a replacement for McTominay. But the longer and longer clubs wait to make a big offer for Martial or Sancho or McTominay, the less and less likely it is that something's going to happen. We'll quickly cover the story that Sancho could be leaving Manchester United, just because it's part of the video title, but I don't think Sancho will leave unless we get an offer of 60 million plus, which maybe Spurs will do now they've sold Kane because they had an interest in him, but I don't think they will. And it was said that Aston Villa are monitoring the Jadon Sancho situation. Some other sides in the Premier League and others abroad have internally discussed him. Mounting interest, the player could have a late transfer dash. There was a lot of teams interested in bringing in Sancho on loan, and Manchester United are very clear we're not loaning out the player. Yes, he's had not two of the not best seasons at United, but he's had a good pre-season. We're quite light in attack. We don't have a lot of depth, especially with Ahmad being injured. Pellistri's probably going to go out on loan. Anthony can be inconsistent. Martial's always injured. You got Rashford, you got Højlund. There's a lack of depth in attack at United. It's very unlikely they'd let Sancho go, you know, when they was getting loan offers in. United have made it clear, and good sources have made it clear, United would only sell Sancho if they got one of those Kai Havertz-like offers they can't refuse, because, you know, Ten Hag likes Sancho and he's been good in pre-season, but, you know, even Sancho didn't start that game. It was Anthony on the right, Garnacho on the left, and Rashford in the middle versus RC Lens. We know that, you know, Ten Hag is open to letting Sancho go. It was obviously said again by court offside that Erik Ten Hag is currently open to letting Sancho leave Manchester United as long as a realistic offer is made. He wants assurances those funds will be reinvested. However, any approaches too late in the window could force him to reconsider. So exactly what I was saying. Essentially, if an offer for Sancho comes in, like a Kai Havertz 65 million offer, Ten Hag will consider it, but it really depends on, you know, how much money he gets offered, and you've actually got to think about, you know, how can you replace Sancho, because I think Sancho's a good player. I think Sancho's going to have a good season at United. I think he could be involved centrally, which we need a lot of help with Højlund being young and Martial being injured. And I think this is a big make or break season for Sancho. If he doesn't impress this season, United need to sell Sancho. But I generally believe in Sancho, and that's a great that there's a great player there. If selling Sancho meant you could bring in someone like Kvaratskhelia from Napoli, I'm all for it. Rafael Leao, then I'm for it. But the chances of that happening are very slim. I think, you know, Napoli would price United out Kvaratskhelia move. I think Leao would be particularly expensive. I think we could get a big chunk of money for Sancho. But I think, you know, doing anything else this summer, I think it's Amrabat. I think it's either Pavard or Todibo, looking more like it's going to be Pavard, and we'll get into that in a second. And then there's potentially one signing left, but it's just 20, 30 million max. And I don't think you can replace Sancho with a winger of 30 million pounds. I think that Sancho is a good winger, and I think there are some good young wingers out there. But I'd rather get Pelistri to replace Sancho and wait until next year with someone like Kvaratskhelia and Leao than just buy some winger for the sake of it. But I think Martial can be replaced. I think Sancho won't be sold. I think this report hints that it's unlikely that Sancho's going to go now because it's so late in the transfer window, and you know it's going to be hard to replace Sancho even if we've got a bit of money for him. But I think a player that Manchester United could go for is Marcos Leonardo, who's one of the best Brazilian talents that's not been tapped up by any club in Europe. And it is said that Manchester United have joined Rome and Forest in the race to sign Santos striker Marcos Leonardo, who is available for 15 million euros this summer. And you might say, Alice, but this is a bit of a dodgy Italian source, but we've been getting linked to this guy since October. There's reports back in October, September of last year saying United were monitoring this guy. There was a report in May from a good source saying, you know, United are watching him at the World Cup. You know, we have been linked to this striker for a while. Him and Taremi are the only real strikers that we've been linked with by credible sources or got some level of realism in there. So potentially if Martial leaves, this is who we go for. However, having signed such an unexperienced striker in Højlund, do United want to get another inexperienced striker in a Marcos Leonardo? It was said by Simon Jones of the Mail, who's got good sources close to United, that United have registered an interest in Santos striker Marcos Leonardo. United, Arsenal, Newcastle and West Ham have all watched Leonardo over the past years, and Santos are expecting bids to arrive in the coming days. So I'm surprised he's not quite on the move yet. There are reports that he's quite close to a move at the moment, but we'll have to see what United do with that. I think that could be a potential Martial replacement to watch out for, even though he kind of lacks experience, him or Taremi. But I don't think Sancho will be going anywhere because we've not really been linked to any wingers. And it was said that even with Sancho staying, Ten Hag would ideally lack a versatile winger. On, you know, and we've already got Sancho in the squad, and there was reports that Ten Hag would like a versatile winger to help out, obviously. I was about to say Cody Gakpo, to help out Rasmus Højlund, and that's why we've been linked to names like João Felix and Neymar, but not really credible links. So I don't think that anything is going to happen with Sancho, but I do think if a big offer came in and Villa being interested, you never know. But I think Martial could be sold. I think Ten Hag would be open to selling the player because we're going to lose him on a free in the summer as well. Another player that could be sold is Alvaro Fernandez, a player that I would keep around now with Malassia's injury, or at least loan him out to Burnley would have been the ideal situation. It has come out from reluctant Nico, who isn't the best source in the world, but he said Manchester United want to sell Alvaro Fernandez amid interest in Germany. Preston wanted him back, but they cannot afford the asking price. Burnley also have other targets, leaving United talking to clubs in the Bundesliga. Apparently, United are reportedly open to selling the player. Personally, I would loan him, or at least make sure there's a buyback clause in there if we do sell Alvaro Fernandez, because I think he's a good player. And I think with Malassia reportedly, and it's a rumour that he could miss a few games this season through injury. For me, you know, we even need to be keeping Alvaro Fernandez around if Malassia's injury is serious, or we should be loaning him. And we should be loaning him straight to Burnley for Premier League experience, in my opinion. Obviously, the last thing we're going to talk about is Benjamin Pavard. Now, I've already covered this in my video earlier today and my live stream earlier today, so this is why I left it to the end. But this is the transfer roundup where we discuss all the news that came out today, so you guys are right up to date. And that is new. Benjamin Pavard has a verbal agreement in principle to join United. The first offer to Bayern from United is rejected, and United again are pushing to sign Pavard. A bid went in, it was rejected. We have a verbal agreement, and reports from Italy and Alfredo Padella saying that Pavard is kind of head of Todibo on Manchester United's list, and Sky Sports were talking about it again, confirming Manchester United's interest in signing Benjamin Pavard. But an interesting thing mentioned by Sky Sports is that Pavard is very keen to join United. He doesn't want to stay at Bayern Munich and will push for a move to Manchester United. So this move could happen particularly quickly. There's also stories like Amrabat to watch out for. And obviously, we'll see if anything does happen with Martial. I think Maguire will basically be sold. Fred's basically been sold. Fred has been sold now. I think Maguire will be the next player to be officially sold. Donny will probably go. Dean Henderson is wanted out. McTominay is wanted out. And United will listen to offers for Martial. I think it depends on the offers we get. To be honest, with Man United signing another striker, because Martial can only play about 9 games a season, is always injured on 250k week wages, I'd be very shocked if we actually got an offer for Martial that was any good. So part of me thinks Martial is probably going to stay at United and run out his contract. But you never know. Thank you very much for watching today's video of the Transfer Roundup. Please do smash that like button, subscribe down below if you're new. See you next time. Bye.